Hey everyone, Mr. Cush here. We are now diving into chapter 6 collectively in our journey through the process of reading Animal Farm. As you probably all have been able to tell, things are radically changing on the old farmstead. So, the point of this brief bit is to give you directions and hopefully help you keep things straight. So, as always is the case, over here, this is the screencast that you can listen to me read you chapter 6, as Mr. Slaby has done before, as well as Mr. Bettini and Ms. Erickson. Spent a little bit of time explaining some of the vocabulary words. If that is helpful to you, punch this up and you can listen to the read aloud. The other thing too is remember down here, that's the PDF of the story that you can use as well. So here we go. And of course, here are the directions because I'm talking to you on the directions. The next slide, remember, and Ms. Erickson put these in last time, super important to do for this chapter as well, because a few more of the commandments in Animal Farm take a pretty bad beating. So make sure that you take a look at these. It'll help you kind of frame what is going on, help you pick apart some of the things that Napoleon and Squealer and the pigs are trying to put over, actually are putting over on the animals. So take a quick look at those to review. These are the original commandments as they were written by Snowball, painted up on the side of the barn. So as you've done in the past, what you want to do is write up on the left-hand side of your notes, and you can do this right now, even before you read, how do logical fallacies and propaganda show up in chapter 6. That goes over on the left-hand side. And then what you're going to want to do is on the right-hand side is pick one of these 4 moments of logical fallacies from chapter 6. And again, you only have to pick one. You only have to pick one. And I guess I want to give you this word of advice, something to kind of chew on. If you look at example 1 is kind of a challenging one. And I want to let you know that between myself and Mr. Slaby, Mr. Bettini, and Ms. Erickson, we had a fantastic conversation about what exactly the logical fallacy was that was put forward in this first example. And I think to that note, a lot of what you're going to see, and probably what you already have seen, is that many of the fallacies and many of the statements that Squealer and the pigs make, depending upon how you look at it, and depending upon the evidence that you pull from it and your reasoning behind it, many of these statements could have a number of different fallacies that are being used. The challenge to you is to make sure that as you identify which fallacy you think is actually being used in any of these 4 passages, remember you only have to pick one, just make sure that you explain your thinking. Show your thinking through your discussion post. All right. So speaking of discussion posts, here's the process. Again, over on the left-hand side of your notes, you wrote down how do logical fallacies and propaganda show up in chapter 6. There's the example. So you pick one of those 4 examples. Again, one of these 4 examples that goes at the top. You need to decide which logical fallacy it is. And again, remember my advice being that many of these it could be described as being more than one possible fallacy. Just make sure that you explain your thinking, and then you need to get to the why. What is the purpose of telling this fallacy to the pigs? What was the reason? What was the effect? How were they trying to get the other animals, to feel and to act? All right. So that's what the assignment is for your discussion post. More to the point, Remember, get into Schoology. Click on the Thursday, Friday, February 25th, 26th folder. And in your discussion post, you're going to choose one of the 4 examples. You're going to identify what the fallacy is that you think that's being used. And then the guts of your response is going to be to explain why you think this is the fallacy being used. And remember, go back, go back, go back, go back. I'm copying Mr. Slaby's technique here, but it's a good one. Starting on slide 9, if you need to, we began with the either or fallacy all the way through 31. Slide number 31, finishing with the ad nauseum fallacy. Go back, check your notes out, and use them to help you answer that question of exactly which fallacy is being used in these 4 examples. Okay, and again, you want to talk about what the effect is. What is it trying to force or trying to push the animals to do? And as always, we do have a sentence frame that you can follow to help you construct your answer. So good luck and good writing with your process. Can't wait to see what you come up with.